What's good, y'all, and welcome back to the Hurls and Smalls show. Wrapping up another week of football, week 4 of the NFL season. Smalls, how you doing?
Man, I am in an absolutely wonderful mood. My whole mood today was going to be determined by Monday Night Football, fantasy football, all wrapped into one, and I came out on top. So we good, we chilling. How
I
about
love to
yourself,
hear that.
brother?
I love to hear that. Niners finally got a win, so I'm doing pretty good. I actually streamed this time. We actually won, so I'll be at the
2 for
Patriots.
2
But
when you stream.
a win is a win. So I'll be live next week too against I think the Cardinals.
I did come in there and say go Patriots, and you never thanked me for my sub. So
There's a reason. There's a reason. But as always, before we get into the review of the week, I got some overreactions. I got some overreactions, and I also have, we're a quarter of the way into the season, so I want to ask you contender or pretender on a few different teams.
Okay.
But we can start with the overreactions first. Not too many. There wasn't too many things to overreact to this week, I feel like, but I tried to do what I could. Right. Starting off, healthy or not, Joe Flacco should be the Colts quarterback 1.
No.
No, just that simple. Just no.
I got nothing else to say. Joe Flacco should be the quarterback 1 in Cleveland right now.
Or Miami.
No. He should have never left Cleveland.
I mean, I guess, but I don't blame them for giving Deshaun Watson one more chance. I don't blame them.
I do. There's no reason you don't give up on Flacco for the price that the Colts gave him for. Like, he could be your backup behind Deshaun, and then inevitably when you realize Deshaun sucks, which we will get to, but you realize he sucks, and you just throw Flacco back in.
But they got Jameis now, who's practically the same.
I don't think that the Colts are in a spot to force Flacco in there because Anthony Richardson has to get these reps to get better as a prospect. He's so raw, and the sky's the limit with him. If he in 2 or 3 years, if he's still the same guy and he can't make a medium range throw, then cool. But right now he needs these reps.
I'm sure every Michael Pittman fantasy owner is hoping Joe Flacco's the starter. Because my goodness, Joe Flacco was, getting the ball out to those receivers, but Anthony Richardson just couldn't. But we can move on. Another quarterback-based one. From what we just saw tonight, Mason Rudolph should be the Titans' quarterback 1 going forward. I did say this last week, I think, but it already came out that they said
your last
Will
one,
Levis.
You did the 5 quarterbacks would be benched, and you mentioned Will Levis, and I said they have no one to take the spot from Will Levis. And again this week, I will say they have nobody to take the spot from Will Levis.
Okay, they already
Mason
said
Rudolph is not good at football.
Uh-huh.
They said if 100%. I think they'll probably start Rudolph next week because he's not going to be 100%.
They should.
Just they shouldn't. He's bad.
Doesn't seem like Will Levis is any better. Mason Rudolph, it looked like the team actually wanted to fight for him. Got some energy going, and they were able to win a game finally. He didn't, throw any egregious interceptions like Will Levis. So, if they want a chance to win any games this season, I think you ride with Mason Rudolph. I think we see.
Can you tell me who they were playing, brother? Can you please
the
tell me
Dolphins?
who they were
But
playing?
so what? So what? You're 0-3. Everybody you play is better than you. You're 0-3. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Ohio State fandom comes before every other NFL team in my heart. And a couple years ago, I really disliked JT Barrett. And I wanted them to run the triple option so bad. The Titans might as well go ahead and find that. Just bring in another running back. Let Tajay be your quarterback.
Moving on.
The Wildcat for a Tajay touchdown today. I'm not being serious with that. But when I was younger, I was so on that triple option. But that is a different level of football.
All right. I got a couple more. The Commanders will win the NFC East.
Over the Cowboys?
And the Eagles. And the Giants. Let's not forget the Giants.
So over the Cowboys?
And the Eagles.
So over the Cowboys? They won't win.
Okay, over the Cowboys, sure.
I don't think they win it. I want to say they make the playoffs, though. I think that I don't know though, because the Cowboys they still haven't realized the running game on like they were better last week against the Giants, but I love Devin Singletary, but you were playing Devin Singletary, so I'm yet to be swayed either way. But that young man at quarterback for the Commanders, holy cow, man, he's a different level. He's incredible, and he was my prediction to be the QB1 in this draft class. And if you told me it was Caleb right now, I can't argue with you because Caleb looks good as well. But Jaden Daniels looks like a top quarterback in the entire league already.
All right. Moving on.
What do you think? What do you think on that one?
I still think the Eagles win that division. I think the Eagles get healthy. They get their 2 receivers back, and I still think they win the division. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders made the playoffs, as got in at the 7th seed or something. But I think the Eagles still win that division. Maybe another year or two, and I think the Commanders, that'll be their division, but not for now. Christian McCaffrey, whether he plays or not, the Niners can win the Super Bowl.
Ooh. I would like to hard disagree.
Disagree. So you don't think the Niners can win the Super Bowl if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play this season?
And I don't mean this as any disrespect.
No. I wouldn't have asked.
Solely because I think Jordan Mason's a very good running back, and that defense, I believe, is better than what you have been saying they are. I know you're high on them, but they haven't looked great. Brandon Ayuk cannot play like current Brandon Ayuk if the Niners have a chance for the Super Bowl because Debo is going to get banged up all season like he always does. I find it hard. If you don't have CMC, I'm not saying they can't make the Super Bowl, but it's going to be tough to beat the AFC teams.
Oh, so you think they can make it, but whoever comes out the AFC will beat them without CMC is what you're saying? I
think beating the Lions would be hard, but I think they can take the Eagles. I think they can take the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, I guess, if you want to say in that division. But
the only reason I say I think we can is because it's only been 4 games, but through these first 4 games, it's been a lot. It's been a pass-happy offense. Brock has thrown the ball a lot this season. He leads the league in passing yards through 4 games.
We'll get to this. We'll get to that game. You're gonna be really happy with stuff I have to say about that quarterback.
And like I said, I really think we can rely on our passing game now. So I don't know if we need a super dynamic back there. So I think we can. Will it be harder without him? Of course, but I still think we can win without him. I got a couple.
If you guys
go ahead.
If you guys play the Lions in the semifinal again, they're gonna come back with vengeance. They're gonna want revenge.
We play them in the regular season this year, so we'll see it. We'll see it.
Regular season, it's not the playoffs.
I got a couple more, but they're kind of. I have Malik Willis shouldn't have started this past weekend, or Malik Willis should have started this past weekend. That's what I had. Yeah, I got a couple more, but they're not much of anything.
Okay, we'll get to that one when it comes to the game. There's not much you can really.
And then with Rashee Rice going down, I had the Chiefs should no longer be the favorite in the AFC.
I don't know.
Because they still don't have Hollywood. No Rashee Rice. No Isaiah Pacheco for now. So,
they'll find ways.
All right. I can't blame you. But all right. Contenders or pretenders? I have about 10 teams here, so we'll move through pretty quick so we can get to the review. The Cowboys.
Yeah. We're talking about Super Bowl winning.
Super Bowl contenders. Not playoff contenders, not division winners. Super Bowl contenders. Pretender. Okay. The Eagles.
Pretender.
The Bills. Big loss on Sunday night. Contenders. The Niners.
Contender.
The Baltimore Ravens. I already know what your answer is.
Contender.
Right after the Ravens, the Vikings. I know what your answer is.
Pretender.
Why do you think they're pretenders?
They just don't got the experience with Darnold yet. I love Darnold, but they're not going to stop Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
But they don't have to. They're in the NFC. I think getting to the Super Bowl makes you a contender.
Oh, not winning it. They're not. So let me go ahead and say they're not going to.
If you get to the Super Bowl, I think you're a contender. Hell, if you're even in the NFC Championship game, I could consider you a contender.
Well, then I would say contender. I think they can make the championship game.
Like, contender doesn't necessarily mean you have to, like, because only one team can win it in the end. But if you're in there, like the Niners last year were contenders, but we didn't win it. You know, or the Eagles prior, they were contenders.
Teams. I think there's 4 teams in the AFC, and I would say maybe 3 or 4 in the NFC as well.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to know why they were pretenders. The Bucks.
If you're talking, just
like make it contenders to win the Super Bowl. Contenders to win the Super Bowl.
See, you're saying win the Super Bowl now. That's the difference. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I think they can make it to the championship game, not the Super Bowl, but the conference championship game. But I think that's about the farthest they can get.
Okay, the Tampa Bay
contender though.
You say contender?
I'll say Tampa Bay is a hard pass.
Really?
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on. Have you been watching Baker Mayfield? Yeah, they had a bad loss to the Broncos, but
the Broncos.
One loss just makes you forget about what he's done every other game.
No, he's looked good. He's looked really good. But you're telling me he can't get past the Broncos defense, and you want me to say he can get past Fred Warner?
We lost to the Rams, but you had us contenders. The Rams are bad too.
The Rams have Matt Stafford, not Bo Nix.
And the Rams have a worse defense than the Broncos do.
I'm good. I love Baker. I'm high on his story, but they're not a contender. I'm sorry.
You're wearing his jersey. He's looked amazing to start this season. Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They can't do it.
Pretenders?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
The
AFC is just so good.
No, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Contender.
Sure. The Lions.
Contender.
The Seahawks.
Damn, I forgot about the Seahawks. Ooh. See, I said there was 3 or 4 in the NFC. They might be one of them. Seahawks, Niners, Vikings, Lions. I guess that's 4. Give me contender, man. They're tough.
And this one you'll probably say pretender pretty quick, but I just wanted to throw them on here. The Jets.
Pretender.
Okay, that's all I got.
You didn't say the Texans.
the Texans. Sorry to all the Texans fans
the Texans
out there.
Are a contender.
Okay, that's my fault. That is my fault. I completely forgot about the Texans. All right, but
so I would say Texans, Vikings, Bills, Chiefs in the AFC.
Vikings
and
or
Niners.
NFC. Vikings or NFC.
Did I say Vikings?
Yeah.
Texans, Bills, Ravens. I said Vikings instead of Ravens. I meant the Ravens. Ravens, Chiefs, and then Seahawks, Vikings, Niners, Lions. So 4 and 4.
Okay. All right. About the Bengals. The Bengals. You don't think they're contenders? 1 and 3 now. You don't think they're contenders either?
I don't know.
It could change later in the season, but
it could definitely change later. But it's too hard to say right now.
All right. Speaking of the Bengals, they started off the day. Bengals and Panthers. Andy Dalton's revenge game. Bengals get their first win of the season, 34-24. You can go ahead if you'd like.
Panthers got the ball first, and they got it all the way down to the 1-yard line, and Chuba Hubbard got stuffed. Bengals get the ball back. It was a high scoring game for both sides, but in my heart, I never really doubted the Bengals. Like I never thought that it was a possibility the Panthers could win this game. Their run defense is just so bad. With Derek Brown being out for a season, they're relying on guys like LeBron Ray and Nick Thurman to be their defensive anchors on the defensive line, and it's just no disrespect, but that's not gonna cut it. Chase Brown did whatever he wanted.
Oh yeah, he was on my bench in 2 different leagues, man. It hurt.
He looked great, and coming into the season, I didn't quite understand why Zach Moss was supposed to be their RB1, and I still don't understand why Zach Moss is getting so many carries. I think it should be head and shoulders Chase Brown's offense, but I guess Zach Taylor's seeing something I'm not. Joe Burrow had a pretty scary ankle roll in the first quarter. He didn't come out of the game at all, but it looked terrible. It made me grimace. It was scary. But Deontay Johnson with Andy Dalton has been very good. He dropped 2 touchdowns in the end zone, but
yeah, that entire Panthers offense has been looking a lot better, a lot more lively. And it's just the thing in the NFL, when the backup comes in, the players just want to just have so much more energy and just play for their guy a lot much more. And it just makes it look bad on Bryce Young. But it's really not his fault. I don't know what it is, but it's always just that the case in the NFL. The players just gather around the backup for some reason. I really don't get it. I don't get it. It happens all the time. But like you were saying, Chase Brown, him and Zach Moss had the same amount of carries, and he played so much better than Zach Moss did. So I'm hoping this is the Bengals turning the page into, Chase Brown and him being their RB1. And that touchdown run by Jamar Chase. I switched to this game right as it happened, and they were showing the highlight of it. I'm like, okay, this was, just probably,
it was like a pinball.
I was like, okay, this is nothing. He probably just went down after. But that was the touchdown play. I just saw him get hit, and I was like, there's no way this was the touchdown catch. But it was. He just bounced off of 3 different people and just took it to the crib.
And just kept going. Yeah.
Man.
He had a great game. Nobody can convince me that Chuba Hubbard doesn't hate Bryce Young. That's
what I mean.
And how does a quarterback impact your running back?
I don't get it.
And I get it for receivers because it's usually a veteran who will know the offense better and will know coverage is better.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that this should be Andy Dalton's last game. I think you should put Bryce, not for the whole season. I think you just give Bryce Young another chance. I'm not going to rant on him like I did before.
If you put Andy Dalton, you said not for the entire season, but you would put Bryce back in. There's no way you can put Bryce back in, then bench him again. That will kill all of his confidence. As a young quarterback who looked like he was already broken and lost his confidence, that would shatter his confidence for you to put him back in, then bench him again. That would kill.
I would have never benched him in the first place, though. I just don't understand the whole situation. You're a bad team, man. I'm not going to get my blood boiled again. Xavier Legette had his first career touchdown. Mm-hmm. He looked really good as their second option. Jonathan Mingo looked really good as their third option. He finally got some snaps and some targets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe J.C. Horn will be on this team for very long. I think he's too talented to continue to lose like this.
It'll probably be the same thing with Brian Burns. They'll trade him away. Bad teams, when they just have talent, they always end up just trading him away and just,
hopefully they get something for him.
Draft, yeah. Is this the Bengals turning the page, you think? Do the Bengals,
I can't say
build
that.
off of this win?
I hope so. I think that they built off of last week's loss to the Commanders. They look their offense looked competent last week, and it continued to look competent this week. I like Joe Burrow, and I like Jamar Chase, and I like Chase Brown. So I hope so.
They got the Ravens next week.
I was just about to say, who do they have next week? That's a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be 1-4.
Okay.
The Panthers scored at one point in this game, and the mascot started doing his little boogie, and he turned around and said "Sir Purr" on the back of his jersey. And I don't know why, that tickled me to my core. I
don't know why.
Fucking laughing my ass off. Shaq Thompson tore his Achilles. He's probably out for season. Heal up to him. He was having a good start to his season. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If your last name was Jordan or Jackson, would you ever name your kid Michael?
No.
Or Mike?
No.
I don't understand it. No. It drives me absolutely crazy. You shouldn't see a Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson. I think it's so stupid. And no offense to Mike Jordan. I don't even remember who it is.
Mike Jackson.
I think Mike Jackson. Okay. Yeah, no offense to the dude, but it drives me nuts.
No. We can move on. Yeah. So enough said about this game. Moving on. My Falcons. My guy Kirk Cousins gets the win, 26-24. He continued.
What?
My Falcons. Only because Kirk Cousins. They couldn't do much of anything on offense, to be honest. I think they scored 2 touchdowns and both weren't the offense. They had that one, the muffed punt by Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, they muffed it in, got in for the end zone, and got into the end zone. And Bijan Robinson, man, they just had a rough game. Seven carries for 28 yards. Tyler Algier looks so much better.
Looked good.
I guess it wasn't Arthur Smith. Because you got Bijan Robinson looking like that, and Kyle Pitts. My goodness! Before the fantasy draft, I said, you know what? I'm giving Pitts one more chance. Kirk Cousins, Kyle, you got your quarterback. You got Kirk Cousins. I love Captain Kirk. You got your guy. There's no way you go out there and do the same things you've done to me in the past. You had excuse me. You had Ritter as your quarterback in the past. There's no way you're going to go out there and give me 1 catch, 2 catches. But guess what? You gave me 0. You gave me 0. 0. What's going on? Yes.
The stats are for losers. They just got another Arthur Smith, dude. And Arthur Smith over there looking good for the Steelers.
Ray McLeod is over there, and he's getting so many more targets. Not a couple more, not involved in the offense every now and then. He's getting so many more targets than Kyle Pitts, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Kirk threw a pick in the first quarter, and it looked horrible, but it was solely because Ray McLeod just straight up fell down, and Demario Davis missed his first game for injury in his career, 13-year career, and this was his first game missed for injury. I think that's kind of cool. He had a hamstring injury, but I have Alvin Kamara in one of my more cared about fantasy leagues, and they gave Taysom Hill 2 rushing touchdowns.
2. I swear, every time I flicked to this game, it was Taysom Hill under center. I don't know.
It was
literally every single time I flipped back to this game, Taysom Hill was under center. I don't know what was happening over there, but literally every single time. But I'm happy to see that Alvin Kamara is looking back to form through these first 4 weeks of the season, because last season, it kind of looked like Alvin Kamara was.
Oh my gosh, dude, what is going on?
In the past couple seasons, it kind of looked like Alvin Kamara was on the decline. Everybody was talking about running backs and their short lifespan in the NFL, but it looks like he's bounced back, and that offensive line is making holes for him, and he's able to look back to form. And Derrick Henry too. Not trying to jump to other games, but Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, they're really
all running backs.
Exactly, running backs. They're keeping the name for the running back alive, and breaking that.
Kamara's great.
Running backs, dying after 30, but yeah.
Kamara has had 20 plus touchdowns every game so far. Or not 20 touchdowns. That'd be crazy, bro. 20 plus touches every game so far this season.
As long as he can stay healthy, man, he's going to be so good. So good for them.
Darnell Mooney might be the receiver 1.
Yeah.
He's looked great, dude.
Yeah.
And it makes my heart happy. I've always been a Darnell Mooney fan, but he just shouldn't be the receiver 1.
Mm-hmm. But the Saints.
Younghoe Koo.
Yeah, shout out to Younghoe Koo. Is he
58-yarder to win the game?
Brandon Aubrey, I think, is the undisputed best kicker in the league. Is he past Justin Tucker? Has Justin Tucker been on the decline that much to where Younghoe Koo is above him, or is Justin Tucker number 2?
I think Justin Tucker being top 5 might be a discussion now.
Okay. Have you how much confidence have you lost in the Saints? Through 2 weeks, everyone was saying they're contenders, me included. We're saying they were probably gonna walk.
I disagreed with you
and run away with this division. How much confidence have you lost in the Saints after these last 2 weeks?
I don't know your answer to the question yet, because this game was tough because Derek Carr is Derek Carr, and I believe that Justin and Bates were going to give them a lot of issues, and those two didn't do a lot. They had okay games, but it was more of like the underknown names on that defense that really stepped up. But I blame the Saints defense. I blame the Saints defense heavily on this loss. Derek Carr had a great drive to get down to the end zone. Kamara banged it in for the 1-yard touchdown. It's like 1 minute and 38 seconds left. Falcons had the ball. And you let him march down the field on you and get... He has 2 game-winning drives already this season. And I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins, you have looked good this season. But this is not a defense that should fold this easily to Kirk Cousins. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Lamar. I'm just disappointed in them. I'm very disappointed in the defense. Paulson Adebo has been absolutely brilliant over there, but other than him, they just need to step up.
You were talking about people stepping up for the Falcons. It wasn't those 2 safeties. It was Troy Anderson, the linebacker. He had the pick 6. He had like a tackle for loss.
Did you see the pick 6?
Yes.
Bogus. So bogus. Derek Carr literally throws it to the left side, smacks off the D end, and it bounces way over to his right side. Dude catches it and runs it for a touchdown. I'm not going to say it's
bogus. It's just being in the right place at the right time. I'm not going to say it's bogus. It happens. It happens. If you're a Saints fan and you're Derek Carr, yeah, you're upset about it, but, it happens. But, the Falcons win again, but I definitely am concerned about this offense. because I don't love how much Ray McLeod is being used. In the past, he's really just been and this is really isn't about me and Kyle Pitts being on my fantasy team anymore. But in the past,
man.
Ray McLeod has been like a special teams guy, like just a punt returner, a kickoff returner. But he's heavily involved in their offense. He gets so many targets, and I really like, fantasy aside, I hope they can get Kyle Pitts involved because he can be a game changer for their offense, and they're gonna need him if they want to win games down the stretch.
Kyle Pitts had 3 targets, 0 receptions.
It's bad.
He doesn't look like the same guy that he came into the league as. He doesn't look like the same guy
had
that
1,000
he was
yards as a rookie.
Yeah, he's a broken man. I don't know if it's because of injuries. I don't know if it's because he doesn't have confidence anymore. But it's I hate to say it, it's almost time to move on from Kyle Pitts.
I just don't think you can. Not yet, at least.
He's not that great of a blocker. He's not doing anything in the passing game. And I just find it hard to say I want to be a contending team, and this is supposed to be one of my high prioritized weapons, and he's giving me 0. I like Kyle Pitts, I really do, but it's hard. It's hard to say hi on him.
Yeah. Moving on. Jags
Those Red Falcons helmets are hard.
Yeah, they
Very
are.
hard.
I was going to say they were bad, but yeah. Jags fall to the Texans 20-24, fall to 0-4 on the season. Texans move up to 3-1. Their offense to me still isn't looking as good as what it can be. They're winning games with that.
Absolutely not.
That offense is looking bad. I didn't think Joe Mixon was going to play this big of a part in that offense, but man, they need him. They really do.
I don't know if it's just Joe Mixon, though, because they don't have Dameon Pierce either. Cam Akers has looked horrible. Yeah. And I mean, it sucks to say, but Cam Akers couldn't be an RB1 at this point. He's had so many leg injuries.
And he looked good at the preseason, too. He looked really good in the preseason for the Texans.
You're not playing main defenses.
No,
There's a difference.
I know.
I agree with you. He looked very good in the preseason. But shout out to Dario Ogunbowale. He had the game-winning touchdown, but... If Dario Ogunbowale is getting the game-winning touchdown, there is an issue at your running back position. They need either Dameon Pierce or Joe Mixon back. There's a very big discrepancy in those two tier of players. But even if they have Dameon Pierce, I'm much more confident in that offense.
Yeah, no one's worried about that running game with just Cam Akers back there. I mean, the way Joe Mixon looked in that first game, they desperately need him. And as far as the Jags, man, season's over.
Disappointing.
The season's over.
I think Doug Peterson's season's over. I think they should fire Peterson. I think they should fire their offensive coordinator. They should. I don't know about their DC, but if he's in Doug Peterson's camp, get him the hell out of there. Just bring a whole new repertoire of coaching in there, because he's not the answer. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a superstar, but this is not Trevor Lawrence. This is not Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne got banged up in this game. But he's better than this as well. Tank Bigsby had a 58-yard run.
And Tank Bigsby, he needs some more touches. Every time he gets it, he's been looking good this season, man. He needs some more touches. He has been looking good this season. He
has for sure. But that's sad that he needs.
No, it is. But he's been looking good. And you said their season isn't over. I just don't see where they can make up enough wins without getting any losses here for them to. Their shot at the division, I think, is over. If they get in, it has to be a wild card. I just really don't see where they're going to get in, because they got the Colts, the Bears, the Pats can be a win. They got the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Lions, the Texans, the Jets. I mean, you still have 5 out of your 6
three wins in a row games. They pull out 3 in a row, and they're 3-4. But they gotta fire Doug Peterson. Like if I go all of tomorrow and he's still on their roster, I dislike what they're doing. I think you need to get him the hell out of there as soon as possible.
But even if they do win 3 in a row here, how many more do they win after that? You can't just say, "Oh, 3." We win our next 3, and then we're looking good. No, because you still got the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Texans.
Oh, you're 3-8.
That's the stretch after that those 3 games you said they can win. You got the Packers, Eagles, Vikings, Lions, Texans in a row.
But their last 5 games are all incredibly winnable. So if you pull off one of those wins, you end the season 9-8. You have a chance at the playoffs.
Do they
Titans,
beat the Colts twice?
Jets, Raiders, Colts.
Do they beat the Colts twice?
They can. They definitely can. I'm not saying they will. But I think the Jaguars are a playoff team, and it sucks that we're going to get a second year in a row without them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely do think their season is over, man. Because that's wishful thinking with them going 3-0 in the next 3 games that they can possibly finish 9-8. That's with them going 3-0 in the next 3 games. So
and then ending
perfect, exactly. Yeah.
And Dave Davis has looked terrible,
man.
Shout out Brian Thomas. He's one of the few parts of that offense that I actually enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm.
That man is phenomenal as a rookie. The rest of the team, though, gotta figure it out.
It is so disappointing, man. Coming off of that 2022 season where they won that playoff game, you really thought they would build off of this, but it's just gone in the other direction ever since. And it's literally that's exactly what's happened. And it's so sad to see. Like you said, Brian Thomas Jr. has looked good. And Trevor, I don't think Trevor was awful in this game. I really don't think he was. He missed a few throws. He definitely did. But I think it was a good a good stat line. But I think this is one of his better games of the season.
That's exactly what I thought. That he looked very decent out there. His stat line doesn't say it,
but it was one of his better games.
He looked solid. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I said, he did miss a few, but this definitely was one of his better games. But I really don't know what it is with the Jags. They definitely have to start with firing Doug Peterson. He should have already been fired. He shouldn't have walked into the building today. It's Monday. He shouldn't have even walked into the building. He should have been fired right after the game, because there's 100%. No way you go 0-4 after what you did the past couple of seasons ago, and you're just content with this as an organization. There's just no way he gets another game as head coach. But man, because
on the other side of the ball, Larry Tunsil has 10 penalties in 4 games. He has struggled to start this season. I can't say that he's on his decline, but he is getting a little older as a tackle, and he's looked really bad to start this season. And please trade John Mechie. He's getting outplayed by Robert Woods. I love him coming out of college. Yeah. Put him in Kansas City right now.
Shut up. Nico Collins, man. Not 100%. Not because why do you want the Chiefs to get anything? Why do you want the Chiefs? I'm saying that, but now with Rashee Rice being hurt, the Chiefs should go call the Browns about Amari Cooper. If I were the Chiefs, that's exactly what I would do.
I don't think the Browns are ready to give up yet.
If you have Deshaun Watson starting as your quarterback, that's all that needs to be said. You're giving up already. If Deshaun Watson is still your quarterback, you've given up. But as I was saying, Nico Collins continues to do his thing. He wasn't 100% this week, but still put up 12 receptions, 151, and a touchdown, man. He is so damn good.
DJ loves him in that red zone.
So damn good. And
shout out to the red zone. Scoring that. Dude, they handed it to Diggs. He ran to the right.
He was good at passing. Yeah, and he was like, I have a lane. Yeah, I have a lane.
I'll just take it in. Yeah. Love me some Stephon Diggs.
That's all.
This game and the Steelers game were closing at the same time, and the Steelers were driving a game-winning drive. The Texans were driving on a game-winning drive, and these are both of my Buckeye quarterbacks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be glorious. And CJ pulled it out. Shout out Dario Ogunbowale, like I said.
The other
we'll get to the Steelers game, but man, hate a rookie center.
Probably the ugliest game. The Broncos upsetting. Fix your face. Fix your face.
Damn.
Fix your face. I bring up the Broncos and Bo Nix, and you just have the most stank, uninterested face.
Bo Nix yet. You didn't even say Bo Nix.
The Broncos upset the Jets 10-9. Greg Zuerlein misses the potential game-winning field goal. Bo Nix.
He didn't just miss either.
Yeah, he missed it bad. Bo Nix, this stat line is disgusting. 12 for 25, 60 yards and a touchdown. Won them a game. That is awful, man. That is awful. I don't know how What's that?
What's bad about that stat line?
As I was saying, I don't know how the Jets managed to lose this game. How do you lose a game where I think in the first half, Bo Nix had -7 yards, I think it was. -7 yards, and you lose this game.
Bro.
You have two receivers who catch 2 passes. They each caught 2 passes, and they both had negative yards. And you lose this game? Are the Jets serious? Cortland Sutton had 3 catches for 60 yards. The next was Javonte Williams, 2 catches for 3 yards. What? What? That literally doesn't make any sense, bro.
Cortland Sutton had 60 yards. Bo Nix had 60.
Like, it doesn't make any sense how the Jets lost this game, man.
To anybody who's watched any of our episodes so far, y'all know how much I love Bo Nix. And on the other side, Aaron Rodgers, I've never liked, dude. I think he is just a weirdo, and I can't say I hate him or anything, but I've never rooted for him. So coming into this game, it was a straight hate watch for me, and I didn't make it very far because I was not about to torture myself just to root against these two guys, because Braylon Allen and Garrett Wilson, they got my heart, but man, Garrett Wilson was what, 5 for 41. Braylon Allen had 8 carries for 34. Breece Hall had 4 yards, dude.
Breece Hall,
man,
you were my number 1 overall pick in fantasy, and my goodness, you sold me. Garrett Wilson, I also have you in fantasy. My goodness. My
I got
goodness.
In a lot of leagues, though.
Oh, man, it was a rough week. It was a rough week for me in fantasy. But yeah, the Jets and this Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh just seem like they're on 2 completely different pages. It just seems like they don't really love each other. Robert Saleh just isn't the guy for Aaron Rodgers, it seems like. But man, shout out the Broncos defense for holding this Jets offense to 3 field goals. But
I'm not shouting out anything from either of these teams, bro.
This was disgusting. This was terrible. So disgusting. I can't fathom how you lose a game where you throw where a quarterback throws 25 times for 60 yards. That's a little more than 2 yards per attempt. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Shout out Michael Carter. That's the only thing I can shout out from this game. He had an interception. He recovered the fumble that Quinnen Williams forced on Tyler Beatty, and also heal up Tyler Beatty. He got stretchered out, and he's back with the team now. But that was he wasn't moving. He was just laying over there limp, and it was scary to see. But Michael Carter, you did your thing. You deserve to be on a better team. The Jets aren't making the playoffs. I'm ready to write them off already.
The Jets are 2-2, and their 2 wins are the Titans and the Patriots, possibly the two worst teams in the league. And after this, they got the Vikings.
This was my pick. This was my pick for the worst team in the league, and they couldn't beat them. 60 yards, Herlins.
And they have the Vikings. I think it's in London. I think it's or something like it's. I think it's in London. It's at 9:30. Yeah, it's in London. Then they got the Bills, the Steelers. So we're really gonna see who the Jets really are in these next few games. And I thought they were possibly Super Bowl contenders at the beginning of the season, even coming off the loss to us. But after these last 3 weeks, I don't see it, man. Their offense just doesn't look as good as what I thought it could be. And that defense, they held Bo Nix. They held Bo Nix to this bad of a game and this bad of a performance. But it's Bo Nix. It's the Broncos.
He is this bad.
And I don't think their defense has played as well as it was projected to be. And that, like I said, that offense hasn't been very good either. And I think Robert Saleh might be out after this season I think he'll get the rest of the season, but I think he could be out as head coach of the Jets after this season. But
they gave Javonte Williams his best game of the season so far. He had 16 for 77, but still, that game was 10-9 as a final score of a National Football League. And his one touchdown was the Cortland Sutton, right? He's standing over there with his dick out, just wide the hell open. And he was like inches away from missing the pass, dude. I think me and you could have made the pass, and he almost oh my God. No, but I'm sorry,
he was doing
Devin,
what?
I love you, brother.
He was doing what? Cortland Sutton.
I love you,
Cortland
Devin,
Sutton was doing what?
He was standing over there ready to catch the ball.
Oh, okay.
The Broncos suck.
What's that?
Broncos suck.
Shout out the Broncos. Shout out Dev. Moving on.
Shout out Dev.
Your Vikings, Sam Darnold and the Vikings move on to 4-0 after a 31-29 win over the Packers. I'm sure you want to.
Would you like to make a pact? I'm coming to you with this, right? I was gonna wait until the Niners I was going to say it during the Niners, but I wanted to wait.
Mm-hmm.
What did I just say? We haven't talked about the Niners yet.
Go ahead. I get you.
If you admit Sam Darnold is a good National Football League quarterback, I will admit the same for Brock Purdy.
Here's the thing. I've never said Sam Darnold was bad. I literally find me a clip of me saying Sam Darnold is bad.
I'm not saying you're saying he's bad.
So
I want you to say he's good.
He's good. What do you mean admit he's good? I've never said
he's a good quarterback. There's a difference between being a quarterback and being a good quarterback. Will Levis is a National Football League quarterback,
and he's bad. And,
okay,
the word Sam Darnold is bad have never came out of my mouth.
Aaron Rodgers is a National Football League quarterback,
and he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
He is, but that's not Aaron Rodgers right now.
Sam Darnold is playing some very, very good football right now. After the loss that Josh Allen had on Sunday night, Sam Darnold should be the front runner for MVP right now. If the season ended today, what's today? October 1st, 2024, Sam Darnold should be the MVP.
Tell me he's good. Tell me he's a good quarterback.
Sam Darnold is playing very good football right now.
Nope. That's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm telling you to do.
Sam Darnold is playing his butt off right now. I think he leads the league in touchdown passes.
Just say no. He's the only quarterback with double-digit touchdown passes. Vikings Packers. Jair
Sam Darnold is looking to be a good quarterback.
I'm done with you.
But I just want to see some more out of Sam Darnold. But go ahead.
Jair Alexander, for the third time of me trying to get this off now, was out coming into this game.
Yeah.
Corey Ballantyne was the starter for him, and anybody that's a Packers fan should have known that was just they set him up for failure. Jordan Addison came back after missing however much time, and was brilliant. He is a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2 role. But man, the Vikings offense, they're gonna get Hawkinson back at some point. Aaron Jones has been all lovely to watch, dude. That offense is amazing. And in the first half, I don't know if Sam Darnold had an error. He was dead ass almost perfect. The second half, he had many errors. He looked very like a different quarterback from the first half. But that first half shows you why, like you said, he's the MVP frontrunner right now. I'm not saying he will win MVP. I don't even know if he'll finish top 5.
Probably not.
But
that's no shot. But
no, not at all. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football. I don't think there's even a debate. If you go back before the season started and looked at rankings, they were criminally underrating him, and I don't know where it came from. Solely because he got injured? When he plays football, he's unguardable. It doesn't matter who you throw out him. If Jair plays, if Xavier McKinney is guarding him, I don't care who you have on him. Eric Stokes cannot do anything, man. Darnold in the right side of that end zone, he threw it to where only Justin Jefferson could have brought it in.
That was an amazing throw. An amazing throw and
it was an amazing catch.
Yeah. It was.
There's not a lot I can say about this game. The watching the game, the Vikings went up 14-0, and in my heart, because I love Jordan Love, and I know you love Jordan Love, this was not the Jordan Love I wanted to see this season. And Malik Willis had looked very good and very promising for a coach that I know can scheme for him. I would have personally started Malik Willis.
Definitely. I just don't get what the rush was. I just don't get it. You were 2-1 coming into this game. Whether you won or lost, you're still 500 at worst. Plenty of time to make it up in the division. But I just don't get what the rush was to bring Jordan Love back. Yeah, he led the comeback, but Malik Willis had been playing some great ball. Matt LaFleur had been putting together some great game plans for him to where he could just manage the game, didn't have to do too much. I mean, yeah, looking back on it, on this game, he would have had to do a lot. He would have had to put up a lot of points. But the way they were calling plays for him, who knows what would have happened? They could have got Josh Jacobs going on the ground a lot more if they had Malik Willis playing. Malik Willis could have got going in the play action game, running it, passing it, the read option. I just think it was just too early to bring back Jordan Love. There was just no rush. It's not like it was a playoff game or this was week 17 and you needed this win to get in. I just don't get what the rush was.
I think the reason the Vikings were able to put up so many points early in this game was because of Jordan Love's interceptions.
Turning the ball over,
I think Malik Willis would have been a better game manager in this situation. And he would have ran the ball more, so it would have chewed more clock, and you have a chance to win this game. I love Jordan Love, but he threw a pick to Kamu Grugier-Hill. He threw one to Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy had they picked on Byron.
He should have had two.
Not to cut you off, but they tried picking on Byron Murphy, but he's been so good, man. He's been
all
so
season.
good. He had the interception, and I think he forced a fumble. He's been so damn good, man. And he picked off Brock Purdy last year too to seal the game last year. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he's been playing really well. They tried picking on him, but it just didn't work.
Nope. The Packers kicker missed a 37-yarder early in this game, and that changes the whole outcome.
Came back to bite them.
Came back to haunt them. Before the first half ended, the Vikings had a muff punt. The Packers got it on like the 5-yard line, and Matt LaFleur got a I don't remember what they called against him, but it brought it back to the 20, and he just threw it up to Jaden Reed, and Jaden Reed made a superhero catch. So shout out to Jaden Reed, and also shout out to JJ McCarthy. He's a great Instagram follow if you haven't been tapped in. He's just a funny dude.
Shout out the Vikings, man. I was a doubter. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell. He's looking like one of the top 3 coaches in the league right now. Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, where he not so much this game, they were able to come back on them, but what he's been able to do on the defensive side of the ball. And shout out to Sam Darnold, man. He's playing his ass off. Like I said,
this was a brilliant head coach matchup.
Yeah, it definitely was. So I'm excited to see what the Vikings can do moving forward. But go ahead.
Prayers up to Christian Watson.
Yeah. Vikings got the Jets, the Lions, the Rams. They can really keep this going. They got a pretty easy schedule, it looks like here. They got the Cardinals, the Titans, the Colts, the Rams, the Jags, the Bears. The Vikings can definitely be like a top 3 to 4 seed in the NFC, man. And if you would have told me that before the season, I would have called you crazy. Shout out to the Vikings. Shout out to Sam Darnold.
I don't know if you'll believe this or not, but I have a good buddy of mine, and he predicted them to win 2 games this season.
As I said, this good buddy said the record itself didn't matter. It's just where he thought they would finish in the pecking order. So yes, this good buddy thought the Vikings would be last in the division, but he didn't think they would win 2 games. He thought they would have won many more, but going week by week is just hard to, give a team a win.
You know this good buddy of mine?
Yeah, I do. I know him very well.
All right.
Moving on, man. Steelers
at
Colts. Anthony Richardson gets hurt. Not Justin Fields. Joe Flacco comes in to replace him and plays pretty well. Justin Fields plays his ass off, and it's roles reversed for the Steelers this week. Usually it's that defense carrying them, and Justin Fields just has to manage the game. But Justin Fields balled the hell out this past Sunday.
He had that one bad fumble.
Yeah.
And it came back to haunt him.
When that defense didn't show up like how they usually do, Justin Fields said, I got it. And he passed for a touchdown. He ran 2 in. He threw for over 300. He looked good. He looked great.
And that passing touchdown was a Pat Fryer move. And he made a unbelievable move. Like, he contorted his body in such a crazy way to just back it into the end zone and fall down in. It was a great play.
I thought there was no way he was going to get in. Yeah. He somehow just stretched out and got in, but
George hit the Mikael Bridges celebration.
And then the Colts. I just want to. The Colts are crazy because Anthony Richardson got hurt. He hurt his hip. Got hit when I was running and hurt his hip. He's out for I think it's 2 plays. Dude. The very next play he comes, like literally the first play when he comes in is a quarterback run. I don't know if he just said, screw it, I'm just going to pull this down and run it. He didn't like what he saw, or if it was a quarterback. If that was a quarterback draw from the start, the play call down to Anthony Richardson, if that was a quarterback draw, my goodness, how stupid can you be? He comes literally the first play after getting hurt. He comes back and gets rocked, and is out for the game. Like, I don't know what the Colts were thinking there, just running him in the red zone when you have Jonathan Taylor right there. You have Jonathan Taylor. and you run it on the first play with your quarterback and just said, screw it.
You have Trey Sermon right there.
Shut up. But the Steelers, man, for them losing this game, they fall to 3-1. But you gotta walk out with your head held high, seeing what Justin Fields was able to do. You know that defense isn't gonna play this poorly every week, but Justin Fields probably won't play this good every week. But if you can find the middle ground for each of those, man, this Steelers team could win the division. And I don't know how Mike Tomlin, with them playing with that defense, how they should be playing, and Justin Fields being playing like this. I think they can win this division. I know you're gonna say the Ravens, but they're 3-1. The Ravens are 2-2, and the Steelers always beat the Ravens at least once. So I wouldn't be shocked if they win this division. And I don't know how Mike Tomlin does it every single year. Every year,
he's a great coach.
Every year I predict the Steelers to finish 8-9, 7-10, 6-11. But every year Mike Tomlin has them over 500, and I don't get it.
I think the Steelers were down 17-0 at one point in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And Cordero Patterson pretty much put this whole team on his back, and he sparked life into them that they hadn't had yet. Absolutely not. But he sparked life into this team that they hadn't had yet, and they got down towards the red zone. They weren't quite in it yet, and George Pickens makes a play on the left sideline, and he just tries to do too much, and he fumbles in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And these goofy plays are just reasons why they lost. Darnell Washington is one of the more exciting players in the entire league for me to visually watch. Steelers, I was wanting them to pull this out bad. Like I said during the Texans segment, I was wanting them to pull this out really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from the start, it just looked like the Steelers defense didn't have it. The first drive, the Colts went down the field on them and punched it in. It looked from the jump, you could tell it was going to be a game where Justin Fields needed to step up, and to his credit, he did, and then some.
That secondary was just disappointing. Patrick Queen was brilliant as usual, but Joey Porter was just getting almost picked on.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the same Joey Porter that we're used to. JT tweaked his ankle again.
Yeah, high ankle
in
sprain.
The fourth quarter.
He could miss some time. Yeah,
I hope not.
My fantasy running back.
Trey Sermon, when he gets the ball, he just goes side to side way too much. He jukes back and forth trying to figure out where he wants to go.
Former Niner, sadly.
He needs to just go forward, man. Why is that sadly? Former Buckeye. Fuck you mean?
Continue, man. Continue.
If you don't have Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson isn't 100%, I think you stick with Flacco.
Flacco, you have to, because that running game is going to be non-existent. So you're going to need somebody that can. Yes, Anthony Richardson can air it out, but you need someone that can work that intermediate game, hit a receiver on a quick out, something. Joe Flacco is going to get the ball to his receivers. And I would definitely roll with Joe Flacco for the next couple of weeks, next week at least, and just see what the offense can do with him.
Gardner Minshew owes Shane Steichen a goodie basket, because what he did to get him that contract from Las Vegas.
Yeah,
man,
Gardner Minshew, he had those Colts looking so good last season. Yeah, it came down to them against the Texans last week, last game of the season, to see who got into the playoffs. But anything else you wanted to say about that game?
Shout out Najee Harris. He continues to impress me with his vision. It's something that everybody's doubted in his whole career, but it's only getting better. He's only looking better as the season's going on. But you can't deny that he's looked all right this season, right? You will, because you're a hater. But Fields and Pickens, chemistry is good.
Mm-hmm.
Rams Bears.
All right, Rams and Bears. The Bears get their second win of the season, beating the Rams 24-18. Sorry, Caleb Williams, man, he's looking better and better as the weeks go on. He's looking more and more confident in that pocket. There were so many plays where the pocket was collapsing and breaking down, but he stood in that pocket and made a throw. He wasn't trying to just escape and trying to look for a play down the field outside the pocket. He stayed in there, trusted his guys, and he was throwing darts out of the pocket, whether it was collapsed or not. He stood tall and made a bunch of throws. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him, the progression from him. Only 4 games in, he's progressing this quickly. So I really like what I see from him, and I think, as the season goes on, he'll definitely get better at it. He's not perfect at it by any means, but as the season goes on, he'll get better. And this Bears offense can, put things together, especially with DeAndre Swift finally showing up for once. Finally, he looked very good this past Sunday.
I've been saying start Roshan, and Roshan looked good, but Swift was just on another level. And you don't need the offense to be brilliant because the defense is one of the best in the league. And Caleb Williams, what impresses me most about him is it wasn't even on the football field. You don't see rookie quarterbacks come in and tell their coordinator that they have to be better very often. But from a lot of reports, it was like him, Komet, and DJ were like, Shane Waldron, you got to stop play calling like a pussy. We got to put points on the board. And while he still did play call very, very passively, their screen game is one of the worst in the league, and they continue to call screens.
It is. I don't get it. But side note, you got on me. Not got on me, but you were like, dang, you said this, so we're gonna get demonetized. But you have been just saying whatever. You have just been saying whatever. You were like, Shane Waldron, you can't be calling plays like a
I only said something to you in a joking way because it was within the first 60 seconds of the episode.
No,
and you want to say some stuff about Daniel Jones. Just
go ahead. I was just kidding.
Jaquan Brisker is one of the best safeties in football. I love the guy. I think he's great. Jared Verse almost has Defensive Rookie of the Year locked already.
Yep.
Latu has been really good, but
continue.
It's definitely not Chop Robinson, so I'm not looking too good. Jordan Whittington had 6 for 62 this game, and he was my prediction to be the receiver one when Puka and Cooper went out, and he's starting to ramp it up. So go Rams.
As good as Matthew Stafford is, my goodness, this offense needs their receivers back. As good as he is, he can only keep this offense afloat for so long. They're gonna have to lean on Kyren Williams so much. He's gonna have to put together games like he did against the Niners a couple of weeks ago for them to have any chance to win games, because this offense is nowhere near as explosive as it can be with those two receivers, and this is probably one of the best offenses in the league. But you can see that the way they're missing Puka and Cooper Kupp so much. That passing game is just nowhere near the same. Matthew Stafford, like I said, he's a Hall of Fame level quarterback, but he just can't do it all by himself. He can't do this every week.
I can't even blame him
on Tutu Atwell, guys like that, Matthew Stafford and friends, as I said when they beat us. He just can't do it. So they're gonna have to rely heavily on that run game. And I don't know if Kyren Williams is the back for you to just put 30 touches on him a game and have him will you to wins every week.
He's going to continue to pick apart the weak defenses, but the Bears don't have a weak defense. He threw a pick to Jaquan Brisker, and luckily for him, he had stepped out of bounds, and they ended up with a field goal. But then I think Jaquan Brisker was the one that got the game-sealing pick, right? Yeah, it was.
Yes.
So he ended up with this pick anyways. But they got to get someone. They got to either instill Whittington with more confidence, because Tutu Atwell is a good slot receiver, but he's not a number one guy.
Absolutely not.
I don't want to see Stafford go out like this. It'll just break my heart. He's too good to go out like this.
And they were terrible in the red zone. It was, where is it? I had it somewhere. One touchdown on 4 trips into the red zone. And that's where you miss a guy like Cooper Kupp. You throw a fade ball to Cooper Kupp in the red zone, and it's an automatic touchdown every single time. Him and Matthew Stafford, that was their bread and butter in the red zone. So yeah, they're definitely missing them. But yeah, shout out to DeAndre Swift finally having his best game of the season. And shout out to Caleb Williams looking better and better every game. And please, let's get DJ Moore involved in the offense.
Their chemistry has to get better, dude.
Please.
Caleb just can't find him, and I love DJ, but he's one of those guys where it'll show.
He shows it. He shows it.
Yes.
He shows it. He's taking his helmet off. You see him with his do-rag on, all pissed, walking around. Yeah. He definitely shows it. I think it was last week against the Colts. He walked off the field and he took his helmet off on the field and just walked to the sideline all pissed. You can definitely see it on DJ Moore's face when he's not happy.
I can't blame him because he's one of them guys. He's a stud. DeAndre Swift's former team,
the Philadelphia Eagles, go into Tampa Bay. Go ahead. Got
they rear ends absolutely smacked up and down by Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Tom Brady commentated this game. Yep. This was his first non-Cowboys game. And Tom Brady, you're debatably my favorite player in the NFL history other than Adrian Peterson.
I know where this is going.
But he's not a good commentator.
I knew you were going to say it.
I just don't enjoy him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That commercial that they play before every game, where it's like the young version, it's Patriots version, it's Michigan version, and it's like Tom Brady is back. That commercial gets me pumped up every game, and then he just comes out there and it's bland as hell, dude. And
I couldn't even tell you how his play calling was because or his commentating was, sorry, because I had this game on mute. I just had, because that game was on cable, so I had like the, what is it, NFL Sunday Ticket, and that's the games I had sound on. So I couldn't tell you how good or bad he was this week, so I didn't listen to a second of this game. I had it open the entire time, but I wasn't listening to it.
Did you see the quote Baker had about the team being
needing some
freer and stuff?
Yeah.
Tom wasn't a big fan of that.
No,
quote.
He wasn't. But I don't think Baker meant anything by it.
He didn't. No.
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
He definitely took it the wrong way. But to the game side of things, yeah, Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts. I get it. Jalen Hurts. You didn't have Lane Johnson in this game. You didn't have your two best receivers. I understand it. But my goodness, do we need to have a turnover every week? Do we need to have a turnover every week? I have the stats somewhere. Since the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he's played in 22 games and has 27 turnovers. It's like, do we need one every week with Jalen Hurts? And this week, it wasn't an interception, but it was a fumble. He stepped up in the pocket, evaded a guy, and I don't know. I guess he just disregarded him, thought he was just out of the play, and he got
fumbled twice.
I didn't even.
He only lost one, but he
lost
twice.
one. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, but he evaded the guy, tried to make a throw, and it got hit right out of his hand. And every time I see that, that scares me because that's how Brock hurt his elbow. When in the NFC Championship game. So every time I see that,
I want to say that's how Cam got hurt too. Cam Newton.
But yeah, Saquon Barkley only had 10 rushes in this game, 10 carries. But that's because the game got out of hand so quick, quick. They really
do not credit Nick Sirianni. This should be your last season. You should no longer be coaching the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon had a 59-yard rush.
Yeah,
and he had 1 or 2 carries the rest of the game.
No, I will. That on that same drive, I'm not sure if they even punched it in, but that same drive, they did. But Saquon just didn't touch that ball. Even I get it, he's gassed, and I get he just didn't touch the ball again. That's what I was gonna say.
They went to Kenny Gainwell twice, and he got stuck, and then they finally pushed it in.
But what I was gonna say, I can't blame them for getting away from the run because it got ugly quick. But it shouldn't have started that way. You into this game, you should know we're gonna have to lean on Saquon Barkley. We don't have AJ Brown, we don't have Devonta Smith. Our quarterback is turnover happy, so we're gonna lean on probably the best running back in the league right now, the offensive player of the year through 4 games probably, Saquon Barkley. But he only has 10 carries in this game for 84 yards.
Stupidity.
It doesn't make any sense.
Can you tell me who their top dog was for receiver? Do you know off the top? Are you looking at stats?
I'm looking at it. Dallas Goedert.
No, receiver, like pure receiver, not tight end. Who led in receptions?
That one
who led in yards?
I didn't even look.
Who had a touchdown?
I didn't even look, but I texted Dark. I was like, Smalls is gonna come on the show and talk about Paris Campbell catching a touchdown pass. And I'm gonna be pissed. So go ahead. Back
to back weeks, dude. Paris Campbell. Screw the practice squad. He is one of your receivers. Give him the contract. They called him up Sunday morning. They called him and John Ross up at the same time. And Paris Campbell, please let him be a full-time receiver, man. I'm not asking for a lot. Dallas Goedert was by far your best receiver in the game, and I think their backup tight end has some good stats as well. But Paris Campbell was your best true receiver. And if it's because Sirianni's an idiot and won't give their best player the ball, whatever. But this was just a Baker Mayfield masterclass. He had 2 passing touchdowns early. He ran dude over to get his rushing touchdown. Godwin and Mike Evans are just an unbelievable duo.
Every week, literally every week, they're both just doing their thing. You would think it'd be one or the other. This game's mine. You got the next one, but no, it's every week. They're both playing well together. And Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White looks like a great running back tandem. Not say great, a very good running back tandem. They split the carries this week. Bucky looked very good in his touches he got. Rachaad White did more through the passing game, but that's really what he is. He's a pass catching.
They were both 10 for
back.
49.
Yeah, both 10 for 49. So yeah, I like to see that Bucky is getting more and more involved in the offense as the weeks go on. Oh, man,
I don't got a lot to say about this game though. I'm ready to get to the next team.
Disappointing loss for the Eagles, man. I don't really know how I feel about them, but the Bucks, man. You said they were pretenders earlier, but I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards contender for the Bucks. I'm leaning towards
I'd be
contender.
happy.
Definitely. But we
I
can
love
move
myself
on
a
to
good mediocre quarterback that has a good storyline.
He's definitely not mediocre. He's definitely. I think
Moving
Baker
on,
has firmly
career-wise, he was mediocre.
Okay.
I'm saying like career that they build themselves back up, like a Geno, like a Darnold, like a Baker.
Like a Darnold, I knew that was coming. Yeah,
like a soon-to-be Sam Howell. But moving on to the 4:00 games. I am a big fan of women's college basketball. I'm trying to get into the WNBA, and they schedule their second-round playoff games.
Oh, I was like, where's
3:00 on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even promote them. Like I didn't see a single ad for them.
Mm-hmm.
You're this is your best season of your entire league, and you're still just not doing enough. And it sucks for women's basketball. But moving on to the Patriots Niners, would you like to talk about the Niners before I get upset with the Patriots?
Go ahead and get upset about the Patriots.
This is a new organization, right? They lose Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
You see what Belichick has, and Belichick is not Belichick without Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a good offensive play caller. He drafts terribly. Cole Strange at the 29th overall pick.
Yeah.
But since 2021, I want to say, they've been trying to build up their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And their offensive line still blows. It is absolutely horrific. And I believe that's the reason they're starting Drake May. This is one of the two teams in the NFL that I can 100% confidently say they're not starting their best quarterback on the roster. Drake May is the 3rd overall pick for a reason. You draft weapons. You got to have stars to get... You draft Drake May. You draft Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk isn't even being targeted. He had a crazy catch in this game that they ended up saying wasn't a catch, which was some BS.
It wasn't.
But you get it was a catch. It was 100% a catch.
I know it was a catch.
But you have Ramondre Stevenson, who is your clear RB1, who's not a star. He's a very good running back, but he's not a star. But you have to use him like a star because your offense is abysmal. You got a good backup in Antonio Gibson, and then you got an off-speed guy in JaMychal Hasty, who's whatever. But then you come to your receivers, and you have Tyquan Thornton you drafted, has done nothing. You have Kayshon Boutte, who you pick up, has done nothing. Patriots fans love them some Demario Douglas, but he is not the guy. Kendrick Bourne, former Niner, has been great for the Patriots. But Javon Baker hasn't done anything over there. You pick up Juju, giving up Jacoby Myers. You should have kept Jacoby Myers because Juju was nothing for y'all. This offense is horrible. You don't have Tom. You have to build your dignity again. You have to build your identity again. And Gerard Mayo is trying. But you can't. You gotta find linemen at some point that don't blow. You gotta put. You can't protect Drake May just because the line is bad. You gotta give him reps. You gotta give the team something to build towards. Bo Nix had 60 yards, and I believe that the Patriots are a worse offense than the Broncos. This is the worst offense, in my opinion, in the entire league, and you have one of the best defenses. So it's not like you're gonna get blown out every week. If you put points on the board, you have a chance. And it just... Oh, man. Go ahead with your Niners. Nick Bosa got that sack you were asking for coming into the league.
Nick Bosa. That's not where I was going to start, but now that you met Nick Bosa, if you look at the stats, you think, oh, Nick Bosa had a sack, he had a solid game. Nick Bosa was playing his ass off. Nick Bosa was so good. He was fighting for that. Even in the post-game presser, he said he wanted that sack so bad. Especially, he took over in that fourth quarter. He was all over Jacoby Brissett, but just could not get the sack. And he finally got it, and it ended up being a strip sack. So shout out to Nick Bosa because he played his ass off. If you didn't watch that game, you would look at the stat sheet saying, oh, he played fine. But no, he played his ass off in that game. But
Patriots should be 1 o'clock games the rest of the season. If they got a 4 o'clock game or a Sunday night football, a Thursday night football, make them 1 o'clock games so we can just not watch them until Drake May comes. Because I'm tired of Jacoby Brissett. He can be one of the best backups in football. I think he has a good mind, but he's not a starting quarterback anymore. Get him the hell off of a starting roster, please.
As I was saying, the Niners, the defense finally looked good. albeit being the Patriots. The defense finally looked good. Javon Hargrave went out for the season, but man, that defensive line played their asses off. Man. I love to see it. You had Kevin Givens stepping up for us on the defensive line. I already said Nick Bosa did his thing. Malik Collins has been a great pickup from us from the Texans last year. I think we traded a seventh for him or something like that. The defensive player of the year. I've been saying it all season. He's a top 3 player in the league.
We already talked about TJ Watt.
Put positions thrown out of the window. The defensive player of the year is number 54. He wears red and gold every Sunday. It's Fred Warner. My goodness. He is all over the field. All over the field. Just let me read out some stats for Fred Warner this season. 27 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 forced incompletions, 2 interceptions, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles. Fred Warner is playing out of his mind. Prior to this season, I think
he
Fred
snagged that ball out of the air.
Fell on his ass, got up, and took it to the crib. Last season or in the prior seasons, Fred Warner has always been the undisputed number 1 linebacker in the league. And he's somehow playing at an even higher level this season to start through these first 4 games. And it's crazy. The energy he's bringing to that defense week in, week out. The Pro Bowl, all pro. He's playing better than that. I really don't know what to say about Fred Warner anymore because I've said it every single week on here. He's playing out of his damn mind. I think he's the defensive player of the year through the first 4 games. There's guys like Aiden Hutchinson who has 6.5 sacks now. There's guys like that, TJ Watt. But I really do think what Fred Warner has done for this defense, if you're watching these games, I think he's the defensive player of the year because without him, we would have, against Minnesota, we would have got our asses blown out. We still lost, but that game would have been nowhere near close without Fred Warner, without his interception, without his forced fumble. The Minnesota Vikings. He had that big fumble against the Jets early. There's really, he can do no wrong. And this is without him playing in the second half. He tried to go, but hurt his ankle in the first half. Came out in the second half, tried to give it a go, but just couldn't. But he says he's fine. So this is without him playing that second half. This is what he's doing. That's how he's impacting the game. So as I said, I think 54 for the red and gold is your defensive player of the year. I think this is finally his year where he gets it. But moving to the offensive side of things, Brock Purdy, Jordan Mason, Juwan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, they continue doing their thing. Brock Purdy continues to improve to me why he is our guy. Not that I needed much proving from him anymore. The deep balls, the deep balls this season from Brock Purdy, I think he leads the league in deep ball yards. In deep ball completions. He had one to Deebo Samuel, which was kind of an underthrow if you ask me, but he hit Deebo deep for I think it was about 40 yards. Then he had one to Juwan Jennings in between 2 safeties. It was on a rope. It was a dime. It was a dime to Juwan Jennings and a hell of a catch by Juwan Jennings as well. And then that touchdown pass to George Kittle in the back corner of the end zone. My goodness, over 3 people. That catch is probably definitely the best of George Kittle's career. Over 3 people. He came down with it and I was like, no way he caught that. I was streaming this game. I was like, no way he caught that. Then I see him on the ground with the ball in his hand like this. And I was like, there's no way he caught that ball. He stayed in bounds. Over 3 people, came down with it. My goodness. And on that drive, Brock Purdy threw 3 touchdowns, but they got called back. A BS holding call on George Kittle. He had a check down pass to Jordan Mason. He took it for 49 yards to the crib. He had one where he scrambled out left and found Juice on a broken play. Then they finally got into the end zone.
I love him, dude.
Who, Juice?
I love Juice Check.
Yeah. Anytime he catches the ball, it just brings energy to the offense. So no, I definitely get what you mean. But man, I love what I saw from the Niners this past weekend. Definitely some things we can clean up. Special teams is going to be the downfall of us this season. Our special teams is god-awful. We had Kyle Juszczyk back there catching kickoffs, and we had catching punts, and he actually decided to take it out and run with it. And then we also had Deebo Samuel back there returning. That's how bad our special teams have been. We fumbled coming out of halftime? I'm not sure when it was, but we fumbled. Isaac Orendo, he literally just ran into his own player, and the ball just popped out of his hands. But yeah, our special teams have been bad all season. Our like coverage unit, and we've had missed kicks. But if we can get that together, I really don't see many flaws on this team. Brandon Ayuk just has to get it going. I don't know. I think he eventually will, because he just can't play this poorly. He's too good of a player to play this poorly as the season goes on. But Brock did have one. He had his one interception where he tried to force it to BA in the end zone, but I think it was Jabril Peppers picked him off. But BA just has to get going, because we're definitely gonna need him towards the later part of. Yeah, that's literally his nickname. He's gonna have to get going, because we're definitely gonna need him towards the later end portion of the season, going into the playoffs. But man, and Brock Purdy doing it with his legs a lot this season. I don't know if you're watching, but he's been making so many plays outside of the pocket, man. So many plays.
I was gonna say he's not even running. It's just like scrambling within, like behind the line of scrimmage, and making a play down.
Keeping his eyes down the field and making so many plays. Yep.
That's why I wanted to give him his love, is because he's been making so many plays outside of like the pocket. He's looked really good, man. I'm not a hater by any means, but like I've never been really high on Brock Purdy. I don't know why you're looking up like that. But I believe they should have started Sam Darnold. But but he's looked incredible this year. I got nothing bad to say about Purdy. He's been trying to win the games that they ended up choking away.
And shout out, before we move on, I'm trying to pronounce this, Sam Okano.
I was looking at the stats, and I was going to ask you how to pronounce his name.
Okawanu, I think it is. Sam Okawanu. He was on the practice squad, only got called up because, and he has like a really like touching story. He only got called up because we've had injuries. So, and he had a big, I think it was a forced fumble late. So shout out to him. He got in and made some plays right away. I think he only got like 15 snaps or something like that, but he made an impact on this game. And the Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson didn't look good, but albeit against the Niners defense, which I've been saying isn't that great to begin with, but it's still a tough defense to play against. But he has a fumble in each of the first 4 games. So that's definitely, scary to see if you're a Patriots fan. A fumble in each of the first 4 games for Ramondre. But that's all I got to say about this game. Shout out the Niners, bouncing back.
All season. He's one of the best defensive backs in football, and he's not getting the love he deserves because he's on a bad team. Commanders at Cardinals.
Shout out my guys, man. Commanders at Cardinals. Go ahead.
Morning game in the week to me. I honestly don't have a lot to say about it. We can move on fast if you want to. But James Conner and Trey Benson looked good. Kyler looked weak as hell. Disappointed the crap out of me because I thought this was going to be a quarterback duel the whole game. Unfortunately, Jaden Daniels was the only one to show up between the two. And Marvin Harrison had a touchdown early. Looked really good. Garrett Williams had a crazy pick on Jaden Daniels, but it ended up not mattering because they got blown out. I don't know where Jeremy McNichols came from, but Austin Eckler, you might as well not come back because he looked great. He looked really, really good. And I predicted Brian Robinson to have a good game coming in because Eckler was out, and he did. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Olamide Zaccheaus, I liked him a lot on the Falcons. I didn't like him as a receiver 2 over here. I think Noah Brown probably is a receiver 2, but he's playing a little bit of flex, or playing a little bit of the slot, which is cool. And he had a great game. Shout out to him. And Terry had another touchdown, which makes me
they're getting the ball a lot more. But yeah, like you said, there's not much to say. But what I will say, the Cardinals, man, I said that defense was going to be bad. They were god awful. They were
somebody has to help Buda eventually, right?
They rushed so many times. They rushed like 3 guys at Jaden Daniels, thinking, "Oh, we'll put 8 guys back in coverage, and this rookie quarterback will just make a mistake." He had that one interception, but other than that, he made them pay. He had all day to sit back there. You're already a bad team, a bad pass rush, and you're rushing 3 guys. So Jaden Daniels had all day to just sit back there and just wait for someone to get open, make off-schedule plays, and he picked them apart. Through the first 4 games, I think his completion percentage is 82.1, and I heard a stat. The Commanders have less incompletions than they do. Okay, this is what I'll say. Jaden Daniels has 19 incompletions on the season. The Commanders have scored on 23 drives. So they have 23 scoring drives, and Jaden Daniels has 19 incompletions. Like, that's what crazy. The hell? That literally doesn't make any sense. But yeah, shout out to the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. He's playing his ass off, man. I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy.
The Cardinals' defense has been horrid, But on the other side, the Commanders' defense really impressed me. Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner, the duo they have at linebacker, were really good this game. And they surprised me. I don't got a lot to say because the Cardinals just didn't show up.
It's another week where the Cardinals' offense has disappointed me. Last week against the Lions, I thought that could be a game that could be a pretty high-scoring game. Then coming into this week, I thought this one could be another high-scoring game. But man, that offense, I think they put up 13?
It was
13.
It was a high-scoring game.
I thought they could. Yeah. I thought they only put up 13 against the Lions, I think, and then this week they only put up 14. So yeah, definitely not what you want to see if you're a Cardinals fan, because you put all your eggs into the basket of our offense being the reason why we could hang in games. But my goodness, if that offense isn't doing much of anything, you have no chance because that defense is Swiss cheese. But we can move on.
Andrew Wiley said this is the most fun he's had up front for the Commanders.
I could definitely see why, man. Shout out to I'm gonna blank on his name. Their head coach from the Cowboys. He was the Falcons head coach. Now I'm gonna have us both looking like idiots. Shout
out Cliff Kingsbury though.
Shout out Cliff Kingsbury. He got the ball, the game ball after the game. But now I have to. Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn. That's who it is. Shout out to Dan Quinn doing his thing over there with the Commanders. But like you said, we can move on. This one can be pretty quick. Chiefs and Chargers. Chiefs moved to 4-0, 17-10 win over the Chargers. It definitely was the best.
By score, this was the best game of the 4 o'clock slate, and it was an absolute snooze fest. The Chargers just have zero offense. Ladd McConkey had a cool catch for a touchdown in one of their first drives.
Nice catch, yeah.
But after that, they just had absolutely nothing. The run game is supposed to be their bread and butter, and it was nothing. JK's been very weak these last 2 weeks. Gus hasn't really done anything all season. Quentin Johnston had 3 touchdowns in the previous 2 weeks and did nothing this game. They just had zero offense, dude. And they played Herbert, and Herbert looked mediocre.
He tried, but he was hurt. You could tell he was hurt, but he tried, but he just shouldn't have been out there. He tried. And Jim Harbaugh had a quote earlier where he said, if Justin Herbert's not 100%, there's no reason why we're going to play him. And you could tell Justin just wasn't 100%, but he was out there. He tried his ass off. He's a warrior, but he definitely should have been out there. He did not look very good. But the Chiefs, man, you lose Rashee Rice on just a fluke accident.
100% Mahomes' fault.
He throws an interception. Rashee Rice is just trying to prevent the pick six, and Mahomes dives straight at his legs. And just takes him out. So yeah, it hasn't been confirmed that it's an ACL tear yet, but you're assuming that's what it is. So hopefully it will be. Yeah, hopefully it's not, but it probably will be. Travis Kelce finally looked like himself again this week. He had 7 catches for 89 yards. But the Chiefs' offense in general, just again, it doesn't.
Xavier
look
Worthy
great.
had that real big deep play. Yeah. Made me think of the old Tyreek days. Made my heart just a little happy because we haven't seen that from Mahomes in a while.
Yeah, the Chiefs' offense again didn't look great, but somehow it's the Chiefs. They're just gonna find a way to win, and that's all. That's all you need. Just find a way to win. Your offense doesn't have to play amazing because Patrick Mahomes will get it done in the end. But yeah, the shout out to go ahead.
If you can be patient and you can get the Browns to give up and you can get Amari Cooper, this offense is completely different.
Yeah.
If you can't get Amari Cooper, like I said, I would be calling for John Mechie. I would be calling for the Jalen Hyatts of the world. Just these young guys that can make an effort on your team, because Sky Moore was supposed to be something over there.
Just about to say, Sky Moore is bad.
He's bad. And you already gave up on Kadarius Toney because he was bad. So. Carson Steele was supposed to be like the wonder boy of this team. He had a fumble and just didn't get to play the rest of the game. Kareem Hunt is back from the dead, it seems, to just be their running back one. This offense on paper should just be absolutely horrific. But Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are not going to let that happen. They were supposed to have a rough start to the season, and they're 4-0. And it's not going to get harder. It's only going to get easier because they played the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs. They played the Ravens. They played the Bengals. They played the Chargers. And
shout out to Jim Harbaugh with what he's done, because the Chargers are 2-2, but they're better than what their record shows. I promise you they are. They're better than a 2-2 record. He has that defense, which is pretty much the same unit as what it's been in the past, looking so good. So good. Without Joey Bosa, that defense has been looking much improved. from when it was under Brandon Staley in the past, now to Jim Harbaugh. Like I said, this team is 2-2, but they're a lot better than what their record shows. Justin Herbert was just hurt out there, and they just weren't able to keep up with the Chiefs. Even though it only being 17 points, they definitely have some winnable games coming up. So I definitely think their record will start to reflect how good they are as a team. They have the Broncos and the Cardinals coming up next, so I think that could be 2 wins right there, and you're 4-2, looking good. But yeah, shout out to the job Jim Harbaugh is doing over there with the.
They'll definitely be 3-2 because they play the Broncos next week, and that's the worst team in football.
They'll be 4-2. 4-2.
They can be, but I'm saying I'm confident they'll be 3-2. Moving on to the Browns and Raiders. Going into the week, this was like my least want to watch game of the season. Not the season, I'm sorry, the week.
Yeah.
And it ended up being that. Deshaun Watson. When we talk about the Patriots, I said they were one of 2 teams I was 100% certain weren't starting the best quarterback on their team. Here's number 2. Deshaun is bad. He is afraid to throw anything further than the line is further than a check down. The one time he did it, hit Amari Cooper right in the chest and it popped it up and was a pick.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Like, come on, Amari.
That wasn't his fault, no. Yeah. But he's bad, dude. Start Jameis, please. You come into this game against a not, I won't say a terrible team, but a bad team. Without their best player defensively in Max Crosby, without their best player offensively in Devontae Adams, and I wouldn't be surprised if Devontae Adams never plays a snap for them again.
And literally couldn't finish the job against a team that was missing their 2 best players. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes. No, none at all. And it's a mediocre team. Myles Garrett was out there trying to play through injuries, but like they were saying what was wrong with him, and it was like everything in his legs are just giving out. And it's sad because he's so good, but you're getting picked apart by coming into the week was one of the worst running back duos in the league. Alexander Mattison looked phenomenal. Zamir White looked very competent, and then you get dominated by Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker, Herlins.
The Raiders had 95 rush yards in the first half, 152 and 2 touchdowns is what they finished the game with. And prior to that, they had the worst rushing game in the NFL prior to this game, but they just got right against the Browns. The Browns, my goodness, they have to be one of the most disappointing teams of the NFL this season. They have
and
to
the commentators kept saying Brock Bowers is going to have to take over and be the main focal point of this offense. He ain't do a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
And they still won.
How I said the Chargers are better than what their record shows at 2-2. The Raiders are also 2-2. They are not as good as 2-2.
No,
the Raiders are not good. They are not good. But the Browns somehow are just worse, I guess. They gave up 16 quarterback pressures this game, and every single game this season they've allowed double-digit pressures. I don't know what's going on.
Are they the worst team in this division?
In the AFC North?
Easily?
The Browns? Easily. It's not close. It's not close.
But isn't that sad with the amount of talent they have defensively?
It's not sad that they're the worst, because I could have seen it between them and the Steelers coming into the season. I could have seen them being the worst, but by this much, they don't even look
competent.
They don't at all. You have to be at least thinking about Jameis. There's no way that organization, the head coaches, the staff over there is not even thinking about Jameis at all. There's no way they're saying we're confidently walking in the next game with Deshaun Watson as our quarterback. There's just no way. And a lot of unfortunate things did happen to him this past game, so I will say, but even then, like you said, he's afraid to push the ball down the field. When he does, it's a wild overthrow. If it's not in front of the line of scrimmage, he's just afraid to make any type of throw. And I don't know what happens to him.
And the run game has been non-existent. Jerome Ford has disappointed the hell out of me. I expected good things while Nick Chubb was rehabbing, and he has just looked. He got outplayed by Deontay Foreman last week, and then Deontay Foreman didn't do anything this week. So I don't know where their heads are there.
Nick Chubb will get back to practice this on Wednesday, he said. So,
he won't play this week, but that'll be good for him.
He can come back and give a spark to this offense, because they desperately need it in the run game. And if he can come back and, if they can beat 500, Jameis is in at quarterback, I think they can sneak in and make some noise in this, not win this division, but sneak in maybe at like a 7th or 6th seed. If there can be 500 up until he comes back and Jameis is in at quarterback, I think they can be sneaky good to end this season.
The Browns were down 20-10, and they picked it. Rodney McLeod picked up a fumble, ran it back for 25 yards. Dustin Hopkins missed the PAT.
Yep.
Which completely
another game where
changes
we were talking about. Yep. They could have got the field goal at the end, but they had to go for the touchdown. Yep.
They had to go for the touchdown. And then their next drive, Amari Cooper has an 82-yard touchdown, which is called back by some absolute BS, dude. Early in the game, the Browns lose their starting center on an extra point attempt, and they have to go to Nick. I think his name was Nick Harris, and he had a bad snap. Oh man, it's just a bad loss. It upsets me. And then the play that got called back was their backup center on Amari Cooper. And I hate when they go to Gene Steratore. I absolutely hate, because he will defend the
refs,
the refs every time, every single time. And at that point, it's just,
why do you even
just say Gene Steratore will agree with them, and we'll be like, good job.
Hey, let's go ask Gene what he thinks, and he's just gonna tell us exactly what the refs on the field
every time.
Yeah,
every time.
Shout out to that the Raiders defensive line. They held it down without Max
Snowden.
Yeah, and Snowden, Kristen Wilkins from the Dolphins had a good game. So yeah, shout out to them. They were able to get pressure on Deshaun Watson, which it seems like everyone is able to do.
Shout out Tommy Eichenberg as well, linebacker over there, former Buckeye. Moving on to Sunday Night Football.
Go ahead. You're Ravens, man. Go ahead.
You have been saying since the start of the season that they have to find the passing game, because at some point you're going to just shut down the running.
Yep.
And when Derrick Henry breaks off for an 87-yard touchdown on the first drive, it doesn't matter. He runs it right behind a rookie right tackle and Roger Rosengarten. And it was getting his first career start. And if this was still JK, he's maybe getting 50. If this is still Gus, he's maybe getting 30. But Derrick Henry is 30 years old, and he's just on a different level.
6'3", 30 years old, and when I saw him break it loose, I was like, okay, he's going to get caught. It'll be a nice 60-yard run to start the game. But he took it to the crib. And I was saying earlier, he's changing the way people are going to look at running backs, and I'm so happy to hear that, because running backs would be like, oh, you had a 3-year prime, but we're not giving you another contract because we know after 30 you're going to fall off a cliff. Injuries are going to get the best of you. You're not going to be the same guy. But I'm so glad to see that he's changing the way running backs are looked at, because he's past 30. A lot of people said he wasn't going to be that guy anymore. He's not, one of the top 5 backs in the league anymore. But my goodness, he ate the Bills' defense.
The Titans were just giving up on him.
But
no. And Patrick Ricard completely changes this offense. Anytime he's in the game, you just follow him, and he's going to block 2 people by himself.
Definitely.
I think it's him or Juszczyk. They play very different roles, but I think those are easily the two best guys.
Easily the 2 best fullbacks in the league. Alec Ingold is another good one with the Dolphins. But yeah,
Do you think Derrick Henry's the last 10,000-yard rusher we see? He's at 9,700. Active players right now. He's at 9,700.
What are you asking me?
And for a while, at least. Because it doesn't... Zeke is second with 8,900. Zeke's career is nearing an end. Joe Mixon is third at 6,600. Latavius Murray is fourth. Melvin Gordon, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook. CMC is at
CMC won't get there. He won't get there. He's just...
with 62. Aaron Jones is at 62. Kamara is at 61. I think the best chance we have is Lamar Jackson, and he's a quarterback. Lamar has 5,500 rushing yards already.
I could sneakily see Joe Mixon. How many did you say Joe Mixon was at?
Joe Mixon is at 6,600.
I could sneakily see him doing it. And I could also see Alvin Kamara doing it as well.
But the difference is they might push it. Derrick Henry's gonna destroy it, dude. Like he's already almost there, and he's not even close to the end of his career.
Super disappointing loss for the Bills. Go ahead. Sorry.
I disagree. I don't think so at all. No, you're not gonna win every game.
Not the loss. It's in the fashion you lost was what the disappointing part was. Them losing the game so much wasn't disappointing, but man, for what I thought was a pretty good defense coming in. And the way their run defense was, I thought, okay, you have a pretty good chance here of stopping or containing Derrick Henry. Let me say containing Derrick Henry, and literally their first offensive play, he takes it 87 yards, I think it was, to the crib. The first play, and you already know what it was going to be from then. And then as they were making their comeback, you have that trick play that where who was it that was under? I forget who was it. Khalil Shakir that was under center, and he tosses it to Josh Allen, and Kyle Van Noy gets the strip sack on Josh Allen. Just a weird play call to make as you're driving down the field. You can cut it to, I think it was 21-10 at that point. They were kind of getting the momentum back, and I was like, are the Ravens really about to choke this game away? I was gonna come on here and say some things about the Ravens if they choke this game away, and that's what it was looking like. I think he was gonna throw it to Keon Coleman, who had a couple nice catches in this game as well.
Yeah, he was all right.
Kyle Van Noy gets the strip sack off of that weird play, just a weird time to call that play. I mean, I guess it gets you the momentum like all the way back in your favor.
Kyle Van Noy has been incredible, dude.
I think 2 or 3 games in a row with 2 sacks now. He definitely has been very good, but
with a destroyed eye. Like he's got a fractured orbital bone.
Like you said, I said the Ravens had to get that passing game going, but it literally didn't matter. Their leading receiver was Justice Hill, 6 catches for 78 yards.
Their only receiver.
Literally. And I was watching this game at my brother's house. He's a diehard Ravens fan. I told him about you because he saw our TikToks, and I was like, yeah, that's my guy Smalls. He loves Lamar Jackson. He's like, oh, that's my guy now too because you just love Lamar. But I was talking about him before this game, and I've been telling him for weeks now. I've been asking him, where is Mark Andrews? Is he washed? What happened to him? Why is he just not getting as many snaps? And then we're watching this game. Lamar throws him that little pass, that little drag or whatever, wide open, and he drops it. And he just turned to me and was like, damn.
The worst part was he drops it and looks down at it, and then just ran back to the huddle like it was an ordinary thing. Brother, you're one of the best. Is it crazy to say he's one of the best of all time? Yes. Like he's not top 5, but he's
of all time. Really? I would say so. I think that's a stretch because his peak, like him being like one of the best in the league, was like a 3-year
he's one of the best of the last decade.
Yes. Of all time, I think is a crazy stretch.
You're probably right.
It takes
but he's definitely he's easily one of the best of the last decade.
Yeah,
and he's just his fall off was so fast, and it's sad to see.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a fall off, but my goodness, he has not looked the same at all. And neither, as Isaiah Likely, he hasn't looked great since that week 1 game either.
So you watched this game?
Did I watch this game?
You said you watched this game with your brother?
Yeah.
Did you see the graphic they pulled up in the first quarter of the quarterbacks in this game were both drafted in the same draft class?
Oh yeah, and then they had Josh Rosen on there,
pick, and 32nd overall pick.
Yeah.
Baker and Darnold both looking good.
So what
I took from that graphic was that Josh Rosen deserves another chance.
Yeah, what they say, he's like going back to school for, what was it? I don't even remember. But I was a Josh Rosen guy when the Cardinals were like when the Cardinals were thinking about going to get Kyler. I was like, no way, draft Nick Bosa. You keep Josh Rosen. You give him another year. Thank God they didn't, because that allowed us to get Nick Bosa.
Terrible.
Yeah, no. We
can move on. Before we move on,
disappointing loss.
Before we move on, Lamar Jackson came out and was like, "This is a team sport. If I have 50 yards and we win, that's all that matters to me." And then he pretty much said, "F your parlays, F your fantasy teams." And I love that mindset. I play fantasy. I bet sometimes, but Lamar Jackson's attitude this season has been wonderful.
No,
definitely.
Because with him being a 2-time MVP, the Ravens have had disappointing exits to both seasons, both times. Because when he was the first time, and when he won MVP the first time, I think that's when they lost to the Titans and Derrick Henry ran all over them. And then last year he wins MVP, and then they lose to the Chiefs.
Disappointing.
Yeah, so I think it's time to just say forget the awards, forget the stats, and let's just go win some games.
And shout out Haywood Highsmith. He's a former Ravens fan. Moving on, Monday Night Football. We really don't even have to talk about this first game, bro.
What? Okay.
What you mean?
That's just so random. But no, like you said, we really don't need to talk about this game. My goodness, another week where I'm glad they gave us 2 Monday night games, because man, we
didn't need this one. You can't look at the schedule and say, let's schedule the Titans for Monday Night Football. That's terrible, man. Will Levis got hurt early in the first quarter. His shoulder got blown off. Mm-hmm. You bring in Mason Rudolph, who I think is just
before he goes out. What an awful interception! What a terrible interception!
And then he walks over to the sidelines and says, "I didn't even see him, man." He's singing Sam Darnold's Ghost. He said, he's terrible. I'm sorry, Will Levis. I really like you, and I thought that with a good coach and Brian Callahan, you would be able to do good things with you. But he's bad. And Tony Pollard, man, could the Cowboys use you right now, because Tony Pollard looks good, and yet Tyjae Spears still looks better. Tyjae Spears had.
With all the options,
let me take that back. He didn't look better. Tony Pollard looks better, but I love that little tandem they have.
Yeah, with all not to make this about the Cowboys, but with all the options at running back this offseason for the Cowboys, for them to walk out saying we brought in Zeke, we're good. Dowdle? There was Derrick Henry, there was Saquon Barkley, there was, like you said, keeping Tony Pollard. Jones. There was Josh Jacobs, there was Aaron Jones, there was Joe Mixon. There were so many running backs to choose from, and they said we'll bring back Zeke and we'll be good. But we can
made
move
the
on
right decision
because this isn't about the Cowboys.
Brian Callahan is the new coach for the Titans. I never thought that they needed to move on from Vrabel, but they did, and I like Callahan. I think he was a good signing. But he's got to grow some balls at some point. You can't keep punting on 4th and inches, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. You got to go for it sometimes. This game you didn't need to because you're playing without Tua. Quite possibly the worst team.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
You bring in Huntley for what reason? You're down 22-6 and you're still handing it off to a little sweep to the left side. You bring in Huntley because he is your best chance at having a competent passing offense. He's gonna do something, whether he's throwing picks or whether he's throwing it to your guys. You can't play him like he's Malik Willis. I'm sorry, Mike McDaniel. You're a great coach, but you're not Matt LaFleur.
That Mike McDaniel, for as good as an offensive mind he is, his play calling has not been great. And it's been like this for a little while now. Going back to last season, it has not been great. And I get it, Tyler Huntley missed a few times down the field to Tyreek Hill. But man, bro, it wasn't great play calling. Like you said, why is it a screen? Why is it a pass behind the sticks? I just don't get it. Please go make a call and go get Russell Wilson. I promise you the Steelers are just fine with rolling with Justin Fields for the rest of the season.
Ryan Tannehill's just sitting.
I said Ryan Tannehill weeks ago. Go get Ryan Tannehill. I don't like Tannehill. Reunite him with the Dolphins. Go get Russell Wilson, who's just sitting there. Do something. You bring in Tyler Huntley? Hell, if AR is healthy and the Colts will give him to you, go get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco will bombs away in this offense.
Go get Tyrod Taylor.
Joe Flacco would put up numbers in this offense. He would put up crazy numbers just throwing it up to Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Like,
oh
please,
my gosh,
go get somebody that can get something going downfield so it's not just a screen pass, a little 2-yard out. My goodness, it's bad. It is bad.
And Mike McDaniel pissed me off in this game. You should never run shotgun on 4th and inches or 4th and 1. If you're under 4th and 3, why are you running shotgun? And the Seahawks did it in the next game. They had they got the pass interference call. They ran the 2-point conversion from the 1-yard line, and you're in shotgun. You got Kenneth Walker.
Your running back has no way. He's not going downhill. If you're under center, your running back is coming downhill. If you hand it off to him, if you're under center, you gotta the defense thinks there's a possibility of a QB sneak. If you're in shotgun, you just just give all that away. But yeah, man, this
Dolphins fans, you might as well get ready for basketball.
No, the literally, I'm a Marlins fan, so don't say we're a football pod. This has nothing to do with baseball. But I have a Dolphins fan friend, and I was texting him like, "Hey man, the season's over. I talked to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. If you want to be a Niners fan for the rest of the season, we'll accept you because I'm not gonna allow you to watch this Dolphins team anymore because this is awful. It's disgusting. If they have to at least make an attempt. This team is too good for you not to go make an attempt at another quarterback And who's to say they're not? Who's to say, they haven't called somebody? But this team has too many weapons for you to just roll out with Tyler Huntley and say, yeah, we think we got a shot. There's just no way.
I like Tyler Huntley, too. I don't think he's their 100% issue. You got to have a little bit of faith in him, though. I know he doesn't know the full playbook yet, but you can't... Mike McDaniel disappointed the hell out of me. If you had to be a diehard fan for the rest of the season between these Dolphins... or the Jaguars? Which one you going with?
The Jags. Easily the Jags. Easily the Jags.
All right, let's move on to game of the week.
Our coach should be fired, so we should be, looking to something new. With the Dolphins, I don't know if my quarterback's coming back. I don't know if my quarterback's ever coming back. So I think it's easily the Jags here. But we can move on to the finale.
Did you get to watch the end of this game, or were you still at work?
No, I was watching. I was sitting in my driveway watching it. That's when you had texted me, yeah. But
game
the Lions, The Lions beat the Seahawks, and they were saying it on the during the game. Whenever they play, it's just always a shootout. It's always a shootout whenever these two teams play. But the Lions beat the Seahawks, heading in their first loss of the season, 42-29. Jared Goff was 18 for 18, 292, 2 touchdowns, and caught a touchdown too. Go ahead.
He did. 18 for 18 is incredible, dude. He said that in this post-game interview. He said it was his first career receiving touchdown, which I didn't fact check, but he would know better than I would. Yeah. And DK coming into this game, coming into Monday Night Football. I hate Monday Night Football for fantasy football, but I was going against DK Metcalf and Jahmyr Gibbs, and I was up 34 points. And DK in the final stretch of the. I don't even know where to cut you off.
Not to cut you off. We forgot to do it again at the top of the show, by the way. But continue.
We did 100%. We'll end with it, I guess. But Jahmyr Gibbs scored his second touchdown, and I was so hot. I went to take a shower. I said, I can't watch this shit right now. I'm gonna break something. Yeah. So I went and took my shower. I came back after halftime,
and I saw KB tweet at you. Jahmyr Gibbs just scored another touchdown. It's GG's for you or whatever. I was dying laughing. I didn't even click it, but I knew it was at you. I just knew it was you that he was responding to. Go ahead.
It was. The Seahawks defense didn't show up in the first half, like at all. Whatever. Terrion Arnold for the Lions.
Yep. He
has 8 penalties on the season. 3 were tonight.
Yep. All three in the second half. Yeah, he's been bad. Whenever somebody gets a step on him, gives him a move, an inside-out move, he's grabbing them immediately. If he's falling to the ground, he's taking you down with him. Every single time. But no, shout out to Jared Goff. I've been saying it, he hasn't been playing well to begin the season, and he said it himself too. He said he had to play better, and he came out and 100% completion percentage, 292. I think he was 12 for 12. I think it was like 190 and a touchdown on play action. And he's always been a good play action quarterback. Back when he was when he was with the Rams, he used to do that. They used to do that to us all the time and kill us. So he's always been good in the play action. But yeah, I'm happy to see him playing better. David Montgomery, that like 40-yard catch he had and run.
He caught it on the right side and put like 9 tackles.
My goodness, man. Yeah,
him, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Kenneth Walker were all sensational tonight. Yeah. Like the running back game in this game was brilliant. On top of a Geno 400-yard game, on top of good. Jared Goff was 18 for 18. It was
18. A lot of good. Yeah.
Both of these defenses are amazing, and yet the offense was just. This is like my perfect game. I want to see offense, and that's what they gave us, man. That's 100% what they gave us. Amik Robertson had a great game for Detroit in that secondary. Alex Anzalone's been good all season. The Seahawks had the ball. Geno gets it and kind of just looks at the ball because he wasn't ready for the snap.
Yeah.
And then nobody moved, and I was like, are they throwing a flag or what's going on here? And he just throws it up to Lockett, losing the ball. So the Lions get the ball back, and I'm like, thank God, I've won fantasy. There's 2 minutes and I want to say 12 seconds left or something like that. I've won fantasy. You're on the 5-yard line, just run it out. Cool. They run the first play. David Montgomery gets nothing. Second play, he drops back. And I'm like, what are you doing? You want to try something, but you're dropping back into your end zone?
They were saying it on the broadcast because it was going to be the 2-minute warning, and they were like, oh, the clock's going to stop anyway, so
we'll throw it here. Play.
Yeah, we'll throw it here anyway because the clock's going to stop, so we'll just try to get a bomb. And the risk and reward, it's just not there. It's just not there.
Not there at all. So you give up a safety, and shout out Draymond Jones, former Buckeye. He was the one that pulled him down. The Seahawks get the ball back and immediately throw it to DK, and I thought my week was over. But they drove all the way down the field. That he lobs it up. Kirby Joseph makes an unbelievable catch for the interception to close it off.
Keeping his hand under it, yeah. And, shout out to Geno, man. I've been a guy that's underrated. Geno, I haven't been giving his credit, but man, there's no way this is the same guy that was playing for the Jets those years ago. There's just no way this is the same guy because he is damn good, bro. It's not just a good story anymore like Baker. It's not a good story anymore. He's just good. So yeah, shout out to Geno finding a home in Seattle.
And I feel so bad because coming into the season, I'm looking at this team, right, and I'm thinking, man, there's a lot Sam Howell can do over there. So I'm actively rooting against Geno Smith. And then I sat down and thought about it one day, and it's like Geno's career has just been. You can't root against the guy. He seems like a great guy. And by the way, he predicted Jeremiah Smith to be phenomenal, and Jeremiah Smith is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he did there, but I love you, Geno. I'm so happy that you're having this trajectory, and I think you're on a contending team.
He didn't write back.
Shout out to Seahawks.
Yeah, that's the last game of the week. Anything else you wanted to say before we? Wrap it up.
We need to make our Thursday night football prediction. We haven't done that the last two.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, and one thing I wanted to say about the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they haven't led in a game in regulation this season, by the way. They won a game, but their win against the Jags came at the buzzer. They hit a field goal to win it. So they haven't led in a game this season. But we can move on.
By the way, our predictions going into this week, you had 11 correct. I had 10, which makes
11 out of how many? That's pretty good, no?
Yeah, it's really good. 11 out of 16, 32 teams.
I thought that was better. But
You got 5. That's still really good, though.
Yeah.
So you got 34 right on the season, and I have 35. So you cut the margin down by 1.
Oh, we're doing it like total wins, not week by week.
We could do either.
I thought it was a week by week thing. I think week by week is better. So,
well, I'm up on you 2-1 then because we tied last week.
It's 2-1-1. So your record is 2-1-1. I'm 1-2-1. All right. What's the Thursday night? It's Falcons and Bucks.
Tampa Bay at Atlanta.
I think this should be a pretty good game. This should be our best Thursday night game of the season. Two teams I'm fake rooting for this season because Kirk Cousins, my guy, Baker Mayfield, you gotta root for him in the Bucks. Mike Evans, man. I want to pick Kirk Cousins because I love him. You know, he's my guy, but I think I'm rolling with the Bucks here. I think Baker Mayfield has just been playing too well. That tandem at wide receiver has been playing well. Their defense has been doing their thing. Bucky Irvin is getting more involved. They have two running backs they can go to. So I'm going to take the Bucks here in a pretty close one. I think the Falcons will be going down late to win the game, but I think the Bucks defense will come up with the stop, and that's how the game ends. Give me the Bucks 27-23. Falcons are driving down late and get stopped.
Give me Tampa by at least 10.
Wow. All right. Kyle Pitts.
Nothing against the Falcons, but just because the Thursday night games just aren't good for some reason.
Kyle Pitts, I'm going to have to think things over. You may not be playing in my lineup this week, so you have a couple of days.
Oh, he won't be starting in mine.
Yeah, you have a couple of days to,
go ahead and pick up Mike
change my mind, but I might have to bench you this week, my man. The experiment might be over. But that's all I got.
If you got this far,
yep,
we love you to death. We forgot in the intro again. We're supposed to say subscribe, like, comment. But I think it should say something about us that we're just so excited to talk about football because we just love it so much, man.
Just get right into it.
So if you got this far, we really truly appreciate you. Show some love. And as always, love you.
In between episodes, we made the TikTok.
We did.
It's the same as the channel name. The Hurls a Small Show. Go follow that. I'll put it in the comments or something. I'll put it somewhere where you guys can just click it. But yeah, we'll try to remember to do it at the top of the show next time. But
man, Darko gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
our fault, Darko.
Yeah. If you made it this far, comment. Brock Purdy. Comment Brock Purdy if you made it this far. And until next time, we'll see you on Thursday. Peace out.